All right, welcome to the IronTrap podcast, California edition. We are in Burbank, California, I think.
Yes.
Yes, we're with Lucky.
Correct. Hi, everybody.
This is Lucky. You may know him from his appearances in Mad Fabricators and many other famous communications.
Yeah. I don't even have a comeback for that one. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
All right, so anyways, doing stop.
And that's it. Thanks for coming.
You're gonna look all high because
Well, you must have got sunburned out there in California
All right.
in the roadster.
ready? Deep breaths.
Now that I inhaled some water.
Okay.
What's that?
Leave.
All right. Well, all this is going to stay in anyways, so.
Yeah, I don't edit this.
Yeah.
It added a little bit. I just started it. It's the start. I didn't tell you this was live.
Low production value. It's the allure.
You could do that in your phone. You could even do it in your phone. You just start it. Okay.
So we're at Lucky Shop, and we are doing a podcast. Have you ever done a podcast?
Yeah, but only on radio. They're over the phone,
Over the phone.
not in person. Well, I don't know, maybe. Yeah. We did
Oh.
something or other. I'm old. I don't remember.
So, I wanted to start with how I have some questions, actually.
All right.
These are off the top of my head.
What do you got?
How long you been in this game
Um,
doing the hot rodding thing?
Well, I started out as a carpenter, building houses and remodels and whatnot.
Oh, all
And
right.
then about 25 years ago, I suppose, maybe 27, 28, I don't even really know, but I bought my first car, 56 Merc, and I started playing around with cars and metal. And it was fascinating for me because metal does stuff wood can't do and doesn't do. And I enjoyed the medium change. So I got more fascinated with learning, and I had Harley way back then. I was a motorcycle guy. Got into hot rods, customs, and I don't know, it just kind of started from there. And progressed into, I don't know, years later, opening up Old Crest Beach Shop with Bobby Green, and kind of going full force into hot rods. And I'd gotten over my custom phase by then because I'm not a big custom guy.
So that was like, you were like opposite of most people. Most people start with a hot rod, and then they kind of evolve into a custom. It seems
Really?
like a lot of people, you know, I could see the allure. I drive my Mercury, and I'm like, this is kind of nice. It's, you know.
Yeah,
so-
that's funny because I never really thought about it that way. I figured it would be the other way around. Customs, there's so much work. There's a lot involved in, and a lot more involved in.
Yeah.
It seems to me, and you bang your head a lot. And I had a 4-inch chop on a 56 Merc, so it was a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I like hot rods better. It's more my style, my thing. Open car, like a motorcycle, you know.
Right. But so 25 years ago, that was kind of, I mean, the traditional thing was kind of popping off.
Those were early ham days.
Yeah,
and,
yeah. So like, that was.
the ham was really big. I'm assuming it's still big now, but back then it was very a lot of opinions on the internet, you know,
Right.
about how traditional cars should be and how they shouldn't be, and how. So I don't know. You pick up a lot. You learn a lot about cars and what you like and what you don't like.
But you guys were able. I mean, it kind of. I feel like it had a rebirth here again. You know.
Yeah.
With that, and probably started 25 years ago, seeing a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
coming around, and the people doing, you know, what has now become a huge thing again. I
Yeah.
feel like.
Well, you know, it's funny because I am. So Bobby and I opened. I mean, we were building the belly tank in his garage in Atwater, and we, at that time in our lives, we just wanted to do what the racing and what finish that car and get trying to do that. And as that went on, we wound up getting our first shop together, and it just kind of really snowballed from there. We started racing. We finished the car. That snowballed into. We're pretty big on the ham, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
We were doing something that other guys in the social media world with lots of voices they wanted to be doing, and we just happened to be doing it.
Yeah. Well, you guys, from the outside looking in, the aesthetic, it was not only the cars, but the aesthetic, the everything about it.
Yeah.
The vibe was, this
Yeah.
is what everybody, was going for.
Yeah.
Kind of had it there.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was. I mean, we were learning a lot, and we didn't know everything about racing and racing the belly tank and all this stuff, but we enjoyed it. We had a good time, and we started building on that, with the cars and the I don't know. The ham part of it was really big. Like,
Right.
that was where you communicated with other people back then, and people you didn't know, right?
Right.
Like, I guess we still do that today. It's just so blown out nowadays. But
Did you guys feel like when you were doing that, you were kind of you were influencing what other people were kind of
yeah,
doing?
I mean, we knew that. We were, we felt, I can't speak for Bobby, but it was obvious a lot of people were living vicariously through what we were doing. And I really appreciated that. I appreciated the attention and support that people were giving us. And it was a big deal. We'd go out to Bonneville or even El Mirage, and we'd go try to do our thing. And we'd had lots of fans that come up and, oh my God, I can't believe this, blah, 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 that, this and that. And it was really cool. It was a really interesting learning experience about people, social interactions for me. I try to be a humble guy, so I don't really, I don't know, a lot of attention is one thing. But I do appreciate all the support. And the awesome part was those same people came back for years and years and years and continued their support, so that was cool.
Yeah, it was weird with the early days of the ham and stuff. It's like weird that people off the internet are like recognizing you or coming up to you. Like that's, I know even for what we're doing that.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's like,
We used to get a lot of too, and I'm just a really normal guy. And we used to get a lot of people that would come up to our pits and look at the car and never say anything. Which I always thought was weird. And then they go back to the ham and they're like, oh, we saw you out there, but we didn't want to say anything. I'm like, why? Because I'm just a normal person. You don't have to not talk to me. And I continually for years telling people to come up and say hi. That was a big thing for me.
Well, I especially feel like land speed racing, everybody, at least when I only been to El Mirage, but everybody was extremely friendly when I've
Yeah, it's a big
gone.
community when it's fun. The racing is fun, and people like it.
Right.
We liked what we were doing at the time, and we went out and we set a bunch of records with that car, and it was great. It was good times.
And were you doing, in the beginning, were you doing any kind of customer work, or was it mainly just building what you guys liked? And
When Bobby and I first opened that shop, he was doing his own thing, and I realized at that point that I needed to start doing stuff. I started working on cars for people, and I was trying to build cars on my own and then flip them.
okay,
Build them the way I want, and not have the interaction of a customer
that's the dream.
saying do this, do that, stuff that you don't want to do. But so I was doing that, and I was just basically doing whatever I could to pay the bills at that time. But for Bobby, it was different. He was able to, function without having to work for people and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we were kind of two yin and yang in that business.
So your now land speed car.
Yes.
Did that start? You said you started that way back then in the old Crow days.
Yeah. So basically, 2 or 3 years into our racing with the belly tank, I started to get the fever really bad about my own car because
Right.
it was never my car. I just happened to work on it and finish building it with him. But it was his, and he raced it, and I didn't ask to race it. It was his deal. So one year, 3 or 4 years in, he says, "Lucky, why don't you jump in the car and go run it down the track?" And I was like, "All right, that sounds cool." I had a claustrophobic moment in that stupid little car.
Because you're a bit
Yeah.
larger in stature than.
Yes, and maybe I wasn't at that time. No, I was. So basically, like building the car, I'd sat in it 1,000 times, but I never, for any reason, had to put on a race suit and a helmet.
Right, which makes it.
So then, when we were going through the bailout, I just they closed me in, and I just never been claustrophobic in my life. Never had a panic attack, nothing like that. And they closed that thing on me, the canopy, and I was like, no, I want out. I want out. I need to get out of here. It's too small. It's tight.
Right.
I want out. And then Bobby and Jim Miller were talking on each. I could see each side of the canopy, and I'm like, they're just talking forever. They weren't. It was probably like 10 seconds. Okay, let's do a bailout, Lucky. I'm like, nope. Open this, pop the thing. Let me out. I'm done. Seat belted in and stuff. And I got out of that car, and I was like, never again. And that was the day I'm like, I got to build my own car. And
Build a coupe instead.
yeah, well, I had a Model A at the time, and it was just something bigger than that car.
Right.
Because there's no extra space in that belly tank, and so it was a pretty big deal. The full panic attack. Never experienced anything like that.
Now, did you have a car in mind or cars that inspired you when you started this?
So I came back. We came back to the shop after Bonneville, and I started chopping my coupe. I think I chopped it 5 inches, got it tacked back on together, and this was going to be my race car project. I wasn't really going in a direction at that point. I was just going to chop it and start my race car venture, And then the Chrisman coupe, one of my favorite cars, went to auction right about that time and sold at auction. And a friend of mine called me who was a studio worker at these big lots where they keep some of the studio cars, auction cars, stuff like that. And he goes, because he knew it was my favorite car, he goes, "Hey, do you want to come see the Chrisman coupe?" And I'd never seen it at that point,
Whoa,
only
yeah.
pictures. And I was like, "Oh, right over here in North Hollywood." And I'm like, yeah. So I just bolted over there, and I got to see the car and touch it and sit in it. And the car's miserable to sit in, by the way.
Yep, I've sat
Have
in
you
it.
sat in it?
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
terrible,
like-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
You
up on the
were
windshield.
right there.
Yeah. And you have to roll in and roll out.
Yeah, it's just it's a purpose-built car, right?
Yep.
They built the rear engine, and they did what they did with it, and it had its unfortunate circumstances too. But it was still my favorite car, the style of it. So anyway, after that day, I set out. I'm like, oh, it's on. I'm building this car. With that in mind, I came back to the shop, and I popped that roof right back off my Model A, and I cut it all the way down to what you see here.
Right.
And it's got about 2.25 inch mail slot windows, and
Yep.
I did get to take some measurements of the car, roughly, and a few other pictures, and just that was going to be my thing. And my intention was to never clone the car, but I was building one for
Right.
sure, a Chrisman coupe. As I went in and I got deeper into the A-pillars and all these things and the pictures with lighting, I noticed a lot of things that I didn't like about the car, how the body lines didn't flow through, and how in most pictures of the Chrisman coupe under lights, you see these hard corners above the A-pillars in the sheet metal. And I just thought, you know what? I'm going to do it different. And I wanted to, my whole building fabrication process, it flowed right into what would Henry Ford have designed originally, or wanted to look original. Like Henry Ford built it and came out of the factory that way. So I took the body lines and I changed some things and I lowered the cowl and I did some things to make all the body lines work together. And I took the corners out of the top of the A-pillars and the sheet metal corners, and I was a lot happier with it. Then when it came down to building the nose, I lengthened it more to have more variety inside the engine compartment for whatever else I needed, more space.
Because they didn't have to worry about,
Yeah.
with the engine placement, they didn't.
Right, because there's nothing like that existed in that car. It was all just kind of weird leg room, actually, and there's a weird void where nothing. It's like a non-existent space you can't get to in that car.
Yeah.
It's just buried, and you can't. Like I have no idea what's going on inside of it. But that's the way Art Chrisman built that car. It was. They didn't care about those things. They were doing what they're doing, and the ease of swapping out a motor and go for a different record. It was fully purpose built. So, with all that said, one of the interesting things that happened is I never felt like I was cloning the car, but you stand 20 feet away, it looks exactly the same, unless you're looking at those specific details.
Right.
So it's very, very similar. And the whole time I was doing it, early Old Crow days, it was just in bare metal. And for years, people asked me if I was going to paint it brown, like the Chrisman coupe.
Right.
And I was like, no. Why would I do that? Like, it never made sense to me. I was never going to do that. But that's what they see, the style and the shape, and they go, that's what they immediately think, that I was cloning it. But anyway, so in my mind, it was always going to be a shade of blue, a light shade that... I don't know, I can't explain the color, but it's just a light shade. And with, it was going to be flat too. I was never going to paint it shiny. That's a kind of a funny detail that happened.
So did it kind of stalled for a little while, right? 'Cause
Yeah, so I left Old Crow and opened up my own shop, my name, not Bobby's name. I was kind of living in the back of Bobby's shadow a lot those days because it was his car, and we did name it the Old Crow. Coop named it the Old Crow, actually. And then when we got the shop, it was like, well, what are we going to name the shop? Well, let's just name it after the car, because the car was the biggest thing in our lives at that time.
Right.
All right,
Oh, okay.
so
Didn't know that.
that's how all that happened, and that became a lot of Bobby's identity,
Yeah.
So anyway, I left the shop, fast forward, and opened up my own shop, put my own brand and my name on it, and just been going ever since. So during that time, the car sat outside, and I had a really small shop, only outside parking lot space. So it sat out at that shop, and year after year just started rusting away from, all the bare metal that it was at the point it was in. I stopped working on it before I left Old Crow because I built the chassis, I put the body back down, and I realized once I got to that point, I realized that there was no way I was going to fit in there with a helmet on. I had to get my butt down between the rails.
Oh, okay.
So sitting on top of the rails, that was just, there was no way. So that's why I stopped working on it, continued working on customer stuff, blah, blah, blah. But then it sat outside for, I think it was about 9 years total.
Well, I saw it at one of your parties at the shop before this. It was like tucked back in the corner and was in bare metal. It didn't look rusty, so that was had to be 9 years, 10 years ago?
Yeah,
12 years? I don't remember. I'm terrible with time, but it was...
At some point, I got back to it and tried to grind all that rust off and whatnot. And I promised myself that I wasn't going to go back. When I left Old Crow, I stopped going to Bonneville.
Okay.
Because that was Bobby's thing, Bobby's race car, the belly tank. So I promised myself I wasn't going to go back to Bonneville until I could finish my car and bring it. It was kind of like a package deal for me.
Right.
My part in the racing needed to be its own thing. So you know, when you have a shop and you gotta work to pay the rent to be at the shop, life gets in the way, you know. And this was I used to call it extra money, and I just didn't have extra money. So it sat there for years. And then I had a couple shop moves. So another shop where you saw it. My good friend at some point at that shop said, we're going to, Tim from Hop Up, who was with Hop Up, Tim Sutton, amazing photographer. He says, we're going to do a little Hop Up Model T or something, and we're going to go race. And he goes, you get in the seat and get in the 100 Club. It was one of Bill Lattin's cars, something like that. I can't remember the whole story now, but I told Tim, I said, no, I got to deal with myself that I'm not going back to Bonneville until I have my car. And that was that. He proceeded for the next few weeks to hound dog me about, you'd be stupid not to go. You don't have to pay anything. You don't have to pay for gas. And I'm like, I started really thinking about it. I'm like, oh, well, he's right. I don't have to do anything except get in a car and go race. Fun. Sounds great.
Go have fun, yeah.
So he talked me into it, and my car sat there rusty and neglected, and I was like, all right, get in the fucking car. Sorry, excuse my French.
Oh, I drop the F-bomb all the time.
Fuck. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went to Bonneville, and oh, man, it was great. I saw my old friends, all the tech guys, old racers from that early time that are now tech guys, and I don't know, it's like a family out there, you know. And I had all these fuzzy feelings inside about why I loved it so much out there. And I don't know. It was really sentimental for me.
Right.
So fast forward through that week, we got back in the car and started heading home. And I said, Tim, I am giving myself 1 year. That's the timeline to finish my car and bring it back out here to Bonneville. And he's like, let's do it. And I'm like, it's on. So for the 11-hour drive back, that's all I could think about was how I was going to tackle getting this. The first thing was I needed to get my ass down between those rails. So I got to pull it apart again and reconfigure the rails and all that stuff. So that's exactly what I did. And then shortly after that, Piero came in to help. And he's like, well, we need to film all this. We need to film this story. So we started doing bits and pieces of that early on in those stages. But like, we don't have anything on film when I don't even remember now, when I popped the body off the chassis and I had the body standing up in the frame rails. Do we have the body sitting on the, yeah. So I had it sitting there on the firewall. While I was doing the rails,
Right.
Because I didn't have a ceiling in that shop, and I was limited to what I could do. I couldn't lift it up and put it down and all that type of stuff. So, I just had to make it work, but we did.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it feels like it kind of just culminated pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny what I realized after the fact. After we powered through the whole year. And fast forward in the story, we did make it to Bonneville in that year's time. Painted and 99.9% ready to go. But we got rained out. And it was like right when COVID was kicking into full gear and all that type of stuff. But I had barely done any work. I had got the basic shape. But there was so much work in a year's time that I couldn't do it by myself. And one of my biggest things was Bobby never helped me with the car, and I didn't ask him to help. it was my thing. His car was his thing. So early on, I honestly thought I was going to build this whole car by myself. It was going to be my thing.
Mm-hmm.
But coming down to that year deadline now, all of a sudden, I enlist my best friends, Piero and Harrison here, Tim at that time, and my buddy Joe, and who passed away, and Jay. And those guys tirelessly came and helped. And I got to one point where I was doing it myself, and I said, I can't do it myself.
Right.
I can't make this happen. I need help. I need you guys. And they're sitting over here, by the way. We can't see them because they're not pretty enough for camera.
It's not pretty enough.
No, so I really did. I needed their help. And I said, look, guys, obviously I can't pay you, but we're pals and I could use your help. And we're going to be, I told them a couple different times that we're doing something special. I didn't know at the time how special. It was just try to get it done, and there was just so much work. Toward the end there, we were doing 17-hour days, and I don't even remember any of it because it was a blur.
Right.
What we do have on camera is probably pretty funny to watch. I haven't watched it in a long time, but those last days where we were just all, we painted this thing at 4 a.m, Harrison?
Jeez.
Hours of sanding right into painting.
Yeah, like at what point did you go from it's just going to be a primered race car to like
I went to go get
pretty straight and damn nice.
I went to go get paint, and I couldn't get the flat paint or whatever I wanted, and I had a powder coat chip that I was basing the color in my mind. It was kind of a bluish gray. And anyway, I went to go buy paint because we had to paint within days. Like we were 3 weeks away from fucking getting to that year deadline, right? And so anyway, I couldn't get the flat, and then I drove all the way to San Diego for paint, and I wound up bummed out driving back, going, what am I going to do? So I had from San Diego to here to think about it. So I stopped at the one paint store, Valley Paint, here that I do know, and I walk in and I said, I need some blue paint, and they gave me a book with hundreds and hundreds of blue shades, and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So I just started looking through color chips, and I'm like, can I get this in a flat? And he goes, no. I go, shiny it is. And I'd given up at that point from what the picture I painted in my head was always going to be this way. And that's one of the things that I compromised on toward the end there. And thank God I did, right?
It came out awesome.
I probably would have had to repaint it at some point. Shiny.
Right.
So I'm glad it worked out the way it was. It was fate. It was just the way it was supposed to be. But
had you been blocking the car out ahead of that already to like make it pretty straight?
Harrison and Tim were coming over continuously working on the car, mudding it up and trying to get the thing straight. And it was pretty rough with all things considering.
So at that point, it makes sense to spray it shiny. If these guys are helping you block it, it would have been a disservice to paint the thing like a flat color.
Look, there was probably some point where I said, we got glossy paint, where they went, because I wasn't doing the body work, so it was just, in my mind, the picture was painted different. But those guys, for days, for weeks, doing body work, and then it came down to finish sanding the body work that night. We started at 11, and then it was just go, go, go. Tim and Harrison just powering out on this thing. And I don't even know what Piero and I were doing, and Joe and those other guys.
Also sanding.
And then remember that night Tom Branch showed up at 1 a.m. with coffee.
No shit.
And a battery. And I was like, oh my God, Tom, thank you so much. And they stayed for a few minutes and said, all right, get to it. And we kind of looked at each other like, all right. Because it was just another one of those long days, and we knew we had to get it done. And that we got it painted by 4 a.m. Piero had to race home in the morning, and yeah,
Jeez.
and we pushed the thing outside to dry, and I don't know. There's so many little things like that that just turned into, like this car really. It really morphed into what it became, and none of it. I mean, he knew it was going to be cool. I knew it in my mind, and I'm sure, I like to think these guys knew it in their minds too. But
Yeah.
like we had no idea it was going to get the attention that it did, and all of that type of stuff. But it's a pretty wild journey.
Yeah, I think it's. We talk about it a lot that everything's kind of been done in hot rodding by the like our Chrisman brothers, like.
Yeah.
But you took something and made it your own, and it's got the flavor of one of the best, Bonneville land speed looking car, look
Yeah.
of a, iconic look. But then
Yeah.
you made it your own, and
You know what? I painted the picture in my head, so I knew what it was going to look like.
right.
Right? I knew it was going to be blue. I didn't know it was going to be shiny, but I knew it was going to be blue. I knew the numbers were going to be big like that, and I knew it was going to say Stromberg right there because I called Clive and he's like, sponsored. And
Awesome.
he did that with us with the belly tank too.
Yeah, cool.
Clive's a great guy. And so anyway, so the first year we got it out to Bonneville, we got rained out and then there was no racing to be done by the time we had to leave. And the attention we got by a lot of the old timers, the guys that have been around, guys like us, that have been around, they just love the style of the car. Even to this day, when we pull into tech, those old guys are like, "Oh my, it's amazing," you know. And that's the satisfaction you get as a car builder, right? Like, those are the only moments that really mean the most because it's validating, right?
Right.
You know that you did a good job.
When the OG the guys that have been around forever and see how many cars in tech, when they tell you that you're they're not just saying that to every car that comes in,
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
But you get that with the cars you do too, though. It's like, you know how it feels when that generation, those older generations,
Right.
they really appreciate the young buck the young kid on the block doing this stuff.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot. Like this past summer we rode into like a local like car gathering cruise thing that a lot of people, and one of the older guys walked over and was like, "Where'd you find this one? What car was that? Oh, my Merc." And the guy was like, "Where'd you find this one?" I'm like, I did this. He knows me. He just never saw me drive that car. And he's like,
Yeah.
"No, you did." I said, "Yeah, I painted it in my garage. It's old lacquer." He's like, "Holy shit, this looks like what I remember as a kid." And you're like, "That's it.
That's the
I
best.
nailed it." So
And that's why we do it right there.
But your roadster, that is, I feel like, equally as iconic in modern traditional hot rodding. I think it's a good snapshot. I know for me it was pretty influential when I saw it because I just feel like it's timeless. What did you also start that during when you were doing the Old Crow thing, or?
I actually started that after I started the race car. Actually, I was
Yeah, because it was done when I
had this roadster body that I was going to build a car out of and sell, and then I changed plans with that, and then it was kind of sitting around, and then I was like, well, screw it, and by that point, back in Old Crow days, I had collected enough stuff to build a couple cars, but you know how that is. You literally could just go on the shelves, pick out stuff, and say, all right, this is part of this car. So I did that, and I back then is when I started collecting the gauges, and that was a 10-year project. But that was all Ham Days influence. That was the way guys on the Ham were building traditional cars and the way they wanted to see traditional cars. And it's in the name, right? And there's period cars, there's traditional cars, and mine, I like to think it's a little bit of both. It's not period correct by any means, but I don't really care. I think it's a pretty good traditional car.
I think you'd have to pick it. That's one of those deals where it's like the nerds could pick it apart.
Yeah.
But when you look at that car, it looks
The billet police.
Yeah.
Back then there was the billet police.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it was just one of those things that from early ham days of learning what kind of car you want. I want to be I want to have a traditional car like this, and I want to, and then, you build it. And for me, I just, I guess I really didn't realize back then the influence that was going on the other side of the computer screen.
That's where I come from, because like certain cars, that's where it was like I saw your car, and there's some other cars that were from those days that I was kind of crafting what I really liked, and like that Roadster, seeing it was like, that's everything about that's like right, and that influenced me for sure, and I'm sure a lot of other guys,
Yeah, that's interesting because I didn't really know that. Like I was so. I guess for my Roadster, my personal car, I guess I didn't really think about it. I was doing the same thing for what other guys were building and being influenced by what they did. I couldn't name those cars.
Right.
But there was a cast of characters that I liked the way that they were doing stuff, and that's what I wanted, and I emulated that, But like, what a funny story is my little, my old Crow Speed Shop blue truck, that thing I built I think I built it in like 3 months, and I pretty much built the whole thing at like 1 month, because I was just trying to finish it. It was my car. Built it before Bonneville. And that thing, which I did, again, I was emulating what traditional guys were doing on the ham. And following the roadmap, I guess you want to say, what guys did 60 years ago at that time, 20 years ago, right? Like that whole style of hot rodding and where it came from and where it was going, and what the ham was doing was teaching, educating guys that history. So that's what I emulated, and that little truck got so much attention because of the proportions that I did, that there wasn't a master plan with that one. It just what I was seeing when I was building it, and what I wanted and what I had, so it was kind of one of those things. But that thing kind of went a little crazy. I finished building it, took it to Bonneville, couldn't stand it. It's too small. It's too small to drive.
It's the worst when you build something and then you drive it. You're like, this is fucking
It's such
terrible.
a little tiny truck. Yeah, 18-inch wheel, bad mistake. Like I learned, all right, I got to put a smaller steering wheel in that. I couldn't wear my Red Wing boots with the 1.5-inch heel on it because there wasn't enough room to get to the clutch.
Yep.
And I don't know, I wound up selling that thing after like 6 months. A dude in France bought it or something.
Right. But the Roadster, I think, even though you're playing it down, I think you put enough of your own touches on it that made it uniquely yours. That again, it was same ideas.
Well, it's interesting that you're saying that, because honestly, to this day, I still never really thought about that. I never really thought about my Roadster as what other people thought about it.
Yeah,
because it was for me, right? So to hear you say that, I guess I just really never thought about that.
Well, because most of us are coming from, I was coming from the East Coast, and I was coming to these shows in your car.
Yeah.
Livewire was another one. I remember seeing some of these cars that are modern, traditional cars, if you will, that you saw them, you're like, that's fucking it. Like, that car has it, that car has it, that car has it. And those cars, I remember seeing them, and it, like, stuck with you. Whether you influenced you to build something like it, or just you saw it and you were like, that's, the cars that got it and were, So that's, I thought that was cool. So it was kind of neat to ride in it today. It was like surreal, full circle.
Oh, that's awesome.
To see that car, have the hop up, like I said, I take a shit and read that hop up. So it's kind of cool.
Maybe you should keep it.
Yeah. Probably everybody has it.
I don't know. I have some funny ones in my grabber as well.
Oh man! But so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat. I'm glad. The other day when we were talking, I was like, "Well, just drive the Roadster over there," and you were like, "Fuck yeah!" And I was like, "Oh, cool."
Well, I was excited
I get-
because of that car, but also because it's 9 degrees and there's 2 foot of snow. So I was also like, yeah, that's something to look forward to. Some snow, shoveling snow.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome. I really was not trying to downplay it. I really never thought about it that way, which is
Well, I
it's
think-
interesting for me and humbling. You know.
I think
a
a lot of people, it happens even with what we're doing with you, like the YouTube stuff. We've been doing it much shorter time than you have, and there'll be people at shows that'll come up to us and be like, "Dude, the free tee, I made me look at tees different. I built a tee," and you're like, "Really? Like I just had a bunch of junk and I had a picture, like you're saying,
Yeah.
you know." So it's like, I think it's
Yeah.
good that people hear that. So
Yeah, that's
maybe
awesome.
You know, I think you guys have an excess of it here in California, so it's probably
Yeah, I guess we're a little sheltered by that.
you
know,
don't.
It just
There's
here.
so much good shit around that, like, you know, it's not as shocking. Where
Yeah.
like back east, there's still there's a bunch of it around, but it's not as much. You know, you have to go to a very specialized show to see
Yeah.
as much of it as you do here. So it was, you know,
Yeah.
it was influencing people other places. So.
Hmm, that's cool to hear. I just never really thought about it that way. So that's neat.
Now, how'd you become a tea shop? All of a sudden, you're model. you're,
I call it Lucky's House of Pain. No, I don't know. You know, I had my own T. My first hot rod was a T actually, a 27 T Roadster,
okay.
and I put a big 354 Hemi in that thing, and it was ridiculous.
Holy crap.
I loved it. I didn't ever got to drive it though, because I never got to finish it early Old Crow days, and I wound up selling it for parts and cashed out on it pretty big time.
Nice.
So anyway, yeah, my first car was a T. Then fast forward, I got another T on accident, and I mocked that thing up, and it was a pretty cool little T, but I never built it. I was gonna sell it, and then that's the one I actually, after Piro sold Livewire, he was going through some stuff, and I felt sorry for him. And I told him I was going to have to kick him out of the modifiers if he didn't have a car. So I called him up and said, "Come get this red tea, Piro." And
Nice.
then Piro loves teas, so he fast forwarded. That's the start of his tea problem.
You needed another all-nighter type,
Yeah.
you know, year-long session, or how long was
6
it?
years. 6 years we did that, right?
Is it
Well,
6
it was
years?
very on and off, and COVID was going on, and
I guess I'm thinking of the last year. Probably
we
that
had
was like,
we did have some COVID work days where we I don't think we were wearing masks, but we were like, whoa, what's going on with the world? You know, it was a weird time.
yeah.
I think we were doing the chassis then.
Body.
I don't remember. Anyway, yeah. So that turned fast forward, and there was time, you know, like you were just telling me today about some of your friends with some of their cars that it's really easy to get into in the car game the complacency with I'll work on it next weekend, and then next weekend comes and you don't work on it, and then so it's easy to do. It's human nature, right? And you kind of have to force yourself to work on these cars. I had to force myself to start working on this race car just to make that transfer into something real. And without the help of these guys over here, that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
I couldn't have done it by myself. And my big head thinking I'm going to build this car all by myself, that was about one of the dumbest things that I ever did, you know?
Right.
And you need help from friends, and you need a attaboy. You know, you need a little push and shove in the right direction sometimes. And Tim Sutton did that for me by taking my dumb ass to Bonneville and opening my eyes.
Right.
Because I'd closed them.
Yeah.
I'd closed my eyes on this car, and I was just in that place.
So you had that tea sitting around, and then
I gave it to Piro.
and that's what morphed into.
Yeah. And he tossed around a bunch of ideas in his head, and then he kicked it aside and started, he was going to build a Twitty Pie. So that little red T is still getting neglected somewhere in a lot somewhere at Harrison's. And then Harrison got his T, and then we finished Piero's T, and then my buddy Johnny, Funky Junk Farms, Johnny Agnu, I love this guy, and he gets this. I don't know if you saw his early posts on Instagram. He gets this tee, and oh my God, it was the craziest looking thing when he first got it. That roll, it had this crazy square roll bar cage in it that was like 3 inches diameter tubing, and it wasn't that bad. But and then the key sticking off the back. It was just kind of goofy, but the look on his face and his big personality and his big smile, he was a kid in a candy store with that car, sitting in his driveway, and it didn't run, it didn't stop, it didn't go, it was just a survivor car. And I couldn't get. He would post like once or twice a week with this car, and just his smile. It was so magnetic. I was like, I want to help him do this. And then I was like, all right, no, you stop. No, you stop. Fighting my demons about, mind my own business.
Right.
Don't get involved. But I couldn't help it. And then that was just the way I was feeling. And then Piero one day says, so what do you think about doing Johnny's tea? And I'm like, nope. Because I convinced myself I wasn't going to do it. I love Johnny, but I just, you get involved.
Yeah.
You get involved. And it is involved. And I didn't want to get involved. I love Johnny, but I didn't want to get involved. So then I told that to Piero, nope. And I kind of shut him down, and I wasn't necessarily intending to, but then I thought about it for a few hours, and he went home that day. And I don't know. I guess I started asking myself, why not?
Right.
Right. I can help this friend of mine that the look at the smile in his face, man, I'd wanted more of that, it was, so then I called Pierre back and I'm like, I think I will do it. And, because we're, to film and content and it's a good story. And, so anyway, I said, I'll call Johnny and talk to him.
Yeah, it comes across on the videos how excited he
Oh yeah, he's
so stoked.
He's always a kid in a candy store,
awesome.
And he sits there and looks at it and goes, I can't believe it's mine. He's just so happy about it.
Yeah.
And it's great, right? So fast forward, we finally set a date. I was building my cabin up in Big Bear, so I couldn't dive right into it.
Right.
And so Pierre and I set a date, and we're like, let's just go over to Johnny and talk to him. And so we did that, and we told him, I think I called him first and told him I would do it, and we set a date for filming. And so we finally get over there, and we start filming, and you see it all on the camera. He's just a happy guy.
Yep.
And that was a whole different journey we thought we were going on at that point. And then 3 months later, I'm still finishing up my cabin before we can get involved in too much into this, and then those fires hit, and it just turned into like, now we saved this car on kind of a whim, and he literally was left with nothing.
It's crazy.
And if that car wasn't here, it'd be gone right now.
Yeah.
So it was a weird twist of fate that happened. And so anyway, we just kept moving forward, and now it was a different mission to keep the guy. Like, you got nothing, you lost everything, so
keep him excited, or
it wasn't hard to keep him excited. He was still.
Okay.
I mean, even after losing everything, he was the best attitude. I'm still teary about the whole situation, and he comes, "Hi, I'm so excited to see my car." Blah blah blah.
Wow.
And it was crazy to me. And when you lose everything like that, you go through some stuff no matter what.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
He's a pretty big personality, so he maintained to his big personality throughout the whole thing. there was one moment after the first episode aired. I invited him over. I said, let's take my Apple TV and we'll hook up a little TV right here. So we sat right here in the doorway and we watched the screening of the first episode together. And that was the one that, with all the fires at the very end, and it's a tearjerker to no degree.
Yeah.
And it hit him. This is the first time I saw any emotion like that with him, and I had to walk away. I patted him on the shoulder and walked away and just let him have his sad moment because for him, he did get to see all that stuff that we filmed at his house that he did have. And, a short time later, he didn't have it,
Yeah.
It was a weird thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But he's a good guy, and he's coming back strong now. So.
And now it's on the road.
And now it's on the road. He's got to do he's going to change out the motor, maybe the trans, or he's going to do some upgrades, some things that he wants to do to it still.
Mm-hmm.
But my part for it with getting it safe and there's a brake thing going on. I don't even know what's going on with that. Well, we still have a little stuff to do, but it's right there.
I mean, you're always going to have.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like, if you open up a shop, you're going to have that always. But it's over at his house right now, and he gets to. He calls me all the time. Probably calls Piero too. He's just so happy to have it, to be able to walk out there and look at it and know that it's his, and so he's such a great guy.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So now it's Lucky's Tea Rod Shop and Speed
Tea Emporium.
Tea Emporium. You
I
can go all
said-
kinds of directions with this.
There's a clip I filmed one day when I was just being realistic. I don't know if it was ever in the episodes. I don't remember, but I just having those moments. I'm like, oh, why do I keep doing teas? Like, stop it, Lucky. Like, you just gotta move forward. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, you were building one for coupe at one point too.
Oh, I know.
Oh my
It's
God.
been nonstop.
Yeah.
I know. It's funny because I never really thought about it that way. But I have done quite a few teas. 5?
Yeah, there you go. Really?
5 I've been messing with.
You are kind of a tea specialist, I would say.
When did you become a specialist? At 5?
I think so. I think 5 is the limit. You have your PhD in teas.
His DMs after this right now.
I-
My tea for me. Like,
Yeah.
I have no. That's what I said that one time. When I don't remember exactly what, but I was filming. I'm like, "Welcome to Lucky's House of Model Teas" or something. I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was the moment I was feeling it.
Yep.
And then I said, "Don't call me." I still mean it. Don't call me.
Yeah, but they got that bitch in tea they want to do.
I don't know. I would do the right tea. I would do Harrison's tea coupe.
Yeah, that thing.
That's
already
kind of
has
in
a
the
good-
family, and it's already cool.
Yeah. I think they have been. I feel like teas have started to gain some momentum in the last.
They certainly
handful-
have around here, Matt.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can.
And right here.
Just right here.
In this shop in particular, yes.
It's perfect.
No, but yeah, it does feel like that. And, we hear people say it all the time, comments and whatnot, that teas are making a comeback. And I don't know if they are or not, but
I think they.
There was one for Amber last year. Literally.
Yeah, I think there is.
you
It's-
still have the tea you did?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I just was a shithead and made it undrivable. Like Blackie's car we were looking at. It's like
Yeah.
we were talking about no generator, no fan. Completely uncomfortable to drive in a full race engine. It's like, the fuck did I? Yes, can you fix my tea and make it? But we've been making it more streetable. So
I do have
but-
all this room in here now.
Yeah, there we go. It
No,
doesn't
yeah.
It doesn't do well in traffic with that little tiny. How's your tea do with the? Really?
So, Flathead guys.
215. I'm like,
I was like 230.
So, when
holy shit, dude! I get like close to 200, and I'm like,
yeah. Flathead guys start panicking hard at 200.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So
I pull over and I put some water wetter in at 200, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be okay, I think.
yeah.
I'm not really sure, but we
yeah.
didn't have a choice out there in Bonneville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that the tees, they're fun because there's so many ways you can build them.
Yeah.
There's like the guys, the '70s ones are kind of like, the Street Freak and Street is Neat. Street is Neat. Yeah, they're like all that stuff is kind of has a resurgence. But then there's also like the '50s, ones or.
I kind of still think too. Like so I went down to Southern California here, to Vista area, and they do like a cruise night on.
Mm-hmm.
They do a Model T night.
Oh wow!
Because all I know is I was down there at that time, and I'm driving down the
You're
road.
like the
and
chairman.
There's,
You
I,
had a top hat on.
I had no idea why everybody knew me, but no, I'm driving down the road and I'm passing all these tees waiting in line, and there was like such a crazy variety of old school tees. A lot of street rods, a lot of big wide tire tees,
Yeah.
a lot of traditional tees, every color you can imagine.
Lucky was handing out business cards.
Look, they must have seen me drive by. I don't know, but there's so many different styles you could go with it, and when Coupe and I were doing his little tee, we were going to do like a full artist rendition and do a big Coupe skull grill and that whole type of thing, but it just never transpired. But yeah, there's just so much you can do. The just from tanks to turtle decks to
Yep.
truck beds, And what I just did with Johnny's car, there was no truck bed, and they eventually added it, but the cross member was going right through the middle of it, and it was so silly. I was like, well, if we're gonna do this, let's make it usable.
Right.
So I took out the cross member and redid all that stuff and made it a usable bed. So now he could put, because he's a vintage guy, and I kept thinking he needs to put a vintage cooler ice chest back there.
Yeah.
And his chair. He brings his chair over just to sit and look at his car. Or he used to.
That's
It was an old
awesome.
vintage chair.
Yeah.
He
That's
brings
awesome.
it, pops it out of his
Love
out
it.
of his car, and he'll sit here and it's a rocker too, one of those aluminum.
Oh my god,
Yeah, and then it rocks, and he'll just sit here and look at his car.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think I do think the tees are,
It seems like it is really.
and they've stayed affordable. I feel like so like Model A's have come down a little bit, but like I still feel like tees are, you could still buy. Well, shit, I bought a 27 Roadster body off the ham.
Yeah.
What did I pay for that? $2,500. Was painted black lacquered, like it was like a nice shiny 27T body. And
See,
it's
I
like-
think if I ran across something like that was that decent, I would probably build it for myself.
Yeah, it was.
You heard it first. America.
Well, no, that's just.
We
that's
could.
just-
I think
that's
we could
just
come
the
up with
common
some.
sense part of a builder. Like, I don't have to do all this stuff already.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing about tees and how I feel about hot rods and customs too. Is like with a hot rod, there's a lot of corners that are already cut out of the equation of finishing that car, right? But with a tee, with the varieties of ways you can build it, there are a lot of corners you can cut and money you can cut out of that build.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're cloning a car, then that just gets ridiculous.
Yeah, chroming everything and.
Yeah, well, because you have to do what they did, right?
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So you're the shift knob stuff has been that you've been doing that for quite a while now.
Yeah, about 20 plus years, 22 years
Holy moly.
now.
Done every possible token or design combination.
Oddly enough, there's still so much out there.
Really?
But it's hard to, it's like before I started the shifter knobs, I was just collecting coins,
Okay.
advertising coins.
Yeah.
There's so many types of coins, good luck coins, depression coins, advertising coins. It's nonstop. And I just started getting fascinated with them and the artworks on some of them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the gas related, the mobile ones, anything oil related. It just started collecting, and then I'm like, what am I going to do with all these? So I just started making the shifter knobs. And 20 plus, it's got to be 23 or 24 years now. I'm in right about now. I'm probably in the somewhere between 700 and 800 sold
Holy
over the years. It's crazy when I think about that.
nuts.
And when I hit 400, I started mentally keeping track. And I don't have the exact number anymore, but it's right up there. It's pretty wild. And I have about 100 in stock right now.
Holy shit.
I know, it's silly. I have drawers full of coins back there if you want to rifle through them and see if you like anything. Because it's just, and then, people over the years, they'll message me and they'll say, like some guy actually just last week, what do you have for a 37 Ford? And I'm like, well, they didn't really make any coins that I know of for 37 Ford. You get the coins that were exposition coins and 32s and 34, 33, 34. 32, there's a depression coin, Stuart Warner depression coin that is super cool. And there's real money coins for those years, but that's not real cool to put in
Right.
your car. It says 1937, but
So tiny and
yeah, it's a weird thing with real money, but there's plenty of Ford coins over the years, and I've taken some of them and grinded off the year, so it becomes a more universal year to
Right.
put in a 37 Ford, for instance. But that's a lot of extra work and polishing and stuff that you don't really know the desire for that.
Yeah.
So over the years, I've collected stuff that I think is cool. If it makes me laugh, I've collected it. Burger King, McDonald's coins, some Louisiana monster coins, from Mardi Gras coins,
Right,
and stuff
right.
like that. It's just there's so much out there that's nonstop, and there's a lot of coins that are universal that people always want. 34 coins are like that.
Yeah,
It's got the
yeah.
cool Deco V8 on
Yep.
it. And
That's awesome. Now, did you transition? How long ago did you transition into doing some of your own cast parts and gauge panels and that kind of stuff?
That was a long process, way back in Old Crow days. So that was 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I had this design that I wanted to do for my air scoops. And back then, I had no idea how to make that happen. So I just started educating myself and learning and talking to people that were casting stuff and friends of mine. And what is this all about? What is draft? So I just started figuring it out. It took me probably 10 years to make that, 15 years to make that air scoop
Wow.
design. Multiple sets of patterns and trying to figure it out and bad castings. And it was a long process. In the meantime, I started, I used to be a woodworker. So that comes very naturally to me. So making patterns comes very naturally to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Just once you figure out how patterns work and how they need to work, it's still a learning process, but I'm able to make patterns. So I was making fuel blocks and column drops, and you saw the dashes. I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
making some dashes and a few different things. Some things sold and some things didn't. It's kind of a trial and error type thing when you're trying to create stuff for people that you don't know if they want or not. What I think is cool isn't always cool.
Right.
So I
right.
would go through the trouble of making it to find out it's not cool or it's not selling, So that type of thing happens over the years, but
I feel like some of that stuff is you just need the right one or two
audience.
guys. Well, you need the
Yeah.
right one or two cars to run it, and then all of a sudden it's like that's
Yeah.
how. I mean, why do we like half the store Warner panels? It's because there's a bunch of
Right.
really kick-ass cars done back in the day,
Yeah.
and now we have to have. We were talking about the dummy spotlight things on customs. It's like
Yeah.
if you didn't know that was cool back in the day, I'd look
Right.
at that and be like, why the fuck
Why-
would you
why
put
would you put it on there?
non-working spotlights when
Yeah.
you're smoothing everything? Like we were just
Right.
like you took everything off and then you put
And then
these
put that dummy thing on there.
But because it's been done, we're like, oh,
Right.
that looks good, So I think that's part of probably what
Yeah,
some
remember
of that is.
remember the pipe speaker grills in the back of custom windows
Yes.
and stuff? Like, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Those are just plastic.
It's just, but if the
Yeah.
right cars did it or the right cars run the stuff,
Yeah.
then it becomes more popular.
And that's what's happened with my shifter knobs. That really translates into more people wanting it and seeing it and hearing of lucky shifter knobs. Like I never in my wildest dreams thought I was going to be a shifter knob guy. And then people call me, "Oh, you're the shifter knob guy." I'm like, "Really?"
I'm
Like,
the
when-
T
when
guy.
did-
Why would I be the shifter?
when did that happen? Right? Oh my God.
yeah. Change my business cards now. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, some of the parts they work, some of they didn't.
Yeah.
I still regularly sell fuel blocks and kind of the older stuff, and I stopped making scoops now.
I know Mike got in on the.
Yeah, you got some of the last ones.
I think our buddy Jason bought 3, didn't he, for his tea he's putting together?
Yeah.
See another tea guys.
You know, the scoop thing for me it's a really kind of a sad story, and I didn't. You know, it was a passion project for me. I finally, after all these years, I finally made one. You know, I got it, and I did it, and then it just turns out that the foundries in California are too expensive, and you can only sell an air scoop for X amount of dollars. You
Right.
know?
Yeah.
42 minutes of labor in each one from start to finish. So by the time I sell it for $125, I didn't make any money. And I had a thumb surgery, you know, from sanding.
Jesus.
And like, it was really labor intensive work and breathing aluminum dust. You know, it just got to a point where I was like, I don't want to do it anymore because there's no money in it.
Right.
And I love my product. A lot of people love that
Yeah.
shape and that style and the product itself. And the other thing that happened is I sat on a bunch of stock for a long time with nobody buying them. And I do all the advertising I can. And I got a lot of, since I started selling them, I got a lot of, when I'm ready, I'll get them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not Speedway Motors. You know, I don't have a warehouse full of them that, you just get one when you need one. You know, it's not like that.
Right.
I'm a one-man show over here. So when I sat on this stock, and I think when I finally decided to end them and I'm not doing anymore, I'm not ordering anymore, I sold out the last of what I had, that stock, because it just wasn't going to.
Yeah.
It was too much labor at the end of the day, and it's all I had time to do. I didn't have time to do anything else or work on cars or, you know.
Right. Yeah, it's tough to have multiple things
Yeah.
that are different going on like that.
Yeah.
So.
That particular design was just way too labor intensive. And I'm sure there's better foundries, and you know, after this goes on, there's probably going to be comments about, "Oh, I got a foundry. Oh, you would love to make those," that type of thing. But it have to be the right situation for me at this point in my life.
Yeah.
And I still get calls for them. People want them. Do you have any lying around? This guy calls me and asks me if I have any lying around.
Scoops?
Yeah.
Well, when you fit.
Right. Well, I told you about yours. There's, I still get calls to this day, and it's sad. It makes me sad to say, no, there is no more. Sorry, you missed
Right.
your opportunity, but, yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like with nowadays, the limited supply thing hooks people in. Like we found out with doing merch, it's like, if we just say we have T-shirts, then people are like, I'll order it whenever. When we're like, we're only doing a pre-order if you miss it.
Yeah.
And after 1 or 2 times people missing it, then they're like, oh shit, I gotta make sure, you know. So some of that stuff I feel like because I know Gear Drive was doing some of that Matt was doing some of that with his like blower intakes. He's like, I'm only getting 10 or 20. We're doing a pre-order of 20, and if you miss the list, we may not do them ever, or it might be 5 years. You know, so
That's one thing I never actually did was a limited supply run
like I'm
of
gonna
them or
run
whatever.
10, kind of like you did with the scoops when you were selling them out. You're like, I only have this many left, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
You do it the other way. I'm only making 20 of these.
What did I sell? I sold them out in 2 or 3 weeks. It was 50, 60 scoops or something like that.
What do you think you made total?
370 something
Wow.
total. And I only really know that because the early ones, I had these decals, like theft-proof decals, so they peel it peels the whole thing off.
Yeah.
I had number decals that I would put on each one of them.
Oh wow.
And then the later ones, like probably the ones you got, I was stamping my horseshoe logo into the back of them, and I wasn't numbering anymore. But
Oh, that's cool.
I had bought that last 100 of them, and you know, and that was basically it. I have a handful of them around here. I have a bunch that are not sell worthy, too many imperfections and
Right.
whatnot, and I'll melt them back down or something. I don't know.
Melt them down. Or give them to a friend to
Well,
TIG
the
weld
thing
up
is I don't want to sell them because
yeah.
my name is on it,
I get that, yeah.
literally, and I don't want that product on it.
Right.
He has some pitted ones on his tee that I hate.
You're like, "Die."
Because the pitted ones, there were some that weren't bad enough that I could tumble finish and sell them as not polished,
Okay.
cast finish.
Yep.
And you can't polish those ones. And he went ahead and polished them, and now all the pits are, hey, look, Swiss cheese.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a lot of stock like that. I had 50 of them polished at one point that were all bad castings from one particular foundry. And my polisher should have stopped polishing them. But he didn't. He didn't call me. He polished every one of them, and I paid $800 and something for those for crap, for junk. Right? So those are, you get into these manufacturing things and you learn lessons
Yeah.
continuously about it, and that was a big lesson. And that's when I went out and I bought my polisher and I learned how to polish aluminum. Cut out the middleman, do it myself.
Right.
So now I've added another step of back-breaking labor and danger. One of those scoops goes flying off of that wheel, man. You definitely know it.
So is there something you have on the horizon? You have these projects you've done over the years of hand making, different
Yeah.
things. Do you have anything coming up?
Right now, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit in my shop, and I'm gonna do some mid-century modern doorknobs.
Oh, cool.
A little doorknob business I'm gonna start. It's basically the same work, pattern making and casting and putting together a different manufactured product. Market's a lot bigger.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm still gonna do shifter knobs. I'm still gonna do T-shirts, and Pure and I were just talking about this the other day. I'm still gonna do cars, but it's gonna be a selected car. Outside of Harrison's T, probably not another T Roadster. Unless it's somebody I really like Johnny, that comes in and says, hey, it would mean a lot to me. Because that's the only
He's gonna
satisfaction
get a lot of
I get.
DMs. Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This would mean a lot to me.
Oh
It
no!
really would.
Look, I've had
Yeah.
I've had many years of self-promoting myself. So this is a ploy of. I'll get those calls. You watch.
Yeah.
I might even take a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't have any money, definitely don't call me. Let's just draw the line right there.
I have $0, but it would really mean a lot to me if you would take on my tea project.
And that's the thing, right? You probably get some of this. If I didn't need to make money to pay for this shop, I would probably build cars for my friends all day long and not think twice about charging them money. I enjoy doing it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, it's fun. But that's you're doing the similar idea as us, where we tried
Yeah.
to pivot and find not working on customer cars.
You have to make
So
the
do you-
business the business, and
Yeah.
that's the hard part. And
So if you're doing other things though, like you're doing the doorknobs and things like that,
yeah,
then you don't have to take on some shitty project that you don't like, or whatever, or
yeah.
deal with different customer personalities. So
Yeah.
that's,
I've been turning down more jobs over the years than I probably should have, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty selective with what I do. But I'm going to give this doorknob thing a swing and see what happens, and
that's cool.
it may or may not. You don't know till you know. Go
But
find
at
out.
least you're doing things that you enjoy. That's
Yeah.
the big thing. Like, none of these things that you've said that you've done and sold over the years is like, you're not doing doilies or handkerchiefs or something. You're like, you could if you do enjoy that in
Hey,
your free
look,
time.
when you like, you know how it is, right? A lot of guys know how it is. When you have a shop, you got to pay the rent,
Right.
and I, on a daily basis, pay to be here.
Yeah.
I got to figure out how to come up with that money to pay to be here. And I've had a shop for so long now. when did we first open Old Crow? Like, I don't even know. It's 20 plus years of being a shop owner that, it's a lot of rent.
Yeah. Oh,
If I owned a building, if I was smarter, if I had more money, I would own a building. And
So we live in rural Pennsylvania because it's much more affordable, but we don't get all this
I
sunshine.
may be coming your way. We'll see.
Much colder.
Yeah, you don't want to be there right now. Maybe just.
Yeah. It
Once
might only be me. My wife's not leaving that mountain up there in Big Bear.
She's got a
so
sweet setup there. That's awesome.
She's happy as anyone can be up there.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Lucky. I appreciate
Thanks for
BSing with us.
yeah.
And can anybody find if they're interested in what's the best way to contact you? Your website or Instagram or?
Lucky'sHotRods.com.
Okay. You can find, and you have some of your, you still doing the shift knobs and all that different
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah. There's still parts on there. I still have parts in stock. I'm not out of the game. I'm probably still going to do parts. I would just see how much and what, and
Yeah.
maybe what else. Like those blower tops, I might start putting those into production, and we'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for having me.
thanks for having us in your shop.
Woohoo! Party
now
time.
Now we're gonna eat some Mexican food,
Drink
which is
some.
a key part of the evening. So,
All right.
thank you, Lucky. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank you.
guys. Catch you later.